Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to The Sphere. This episode is sponsored by
Dr. Taraya M. Richmond, PLLC. When it comes to your family's health and women's services, and you're looking for excellence in healthcare, look no further than your family medicine physician, Dr. Taraya M. Richmond, PLLC. Call Dr. Richmond today at 713-453-6962 to schedule your next appointment.
Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. KOG and Company. Are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Do you desire to belong to a community of unity? Visit KOGpassion.com to learn more about the Unleash Your Dopeness movement.
So hi everybody and welcome back to Docs. I am Dr. Simone Ellis, of course, and I'm excited because of course we're here to educate and empower and inspire all of the people of the world about healthcare issues. And I am overjoyed that the dynamic duo is back in the building. Snapback is real.
It
My
is.
love, Ashandra, welcome back. I'm so excited to have you here. So
Thanks.
she just had a beautiful little girl. But you know what? The viewers are probably missing on you. So let's go ahead and kick it back over to you. Welcome back, love.
Well, I am so happy to be back. I tried to come back last week and be great, but my body wouldn't let me. Although I did go to work last week, my body would not let me be great. So
I mean, you cannot get an A+ in everything in
Well, I
life.
try.
Like,
I
mean,
try.
there's a B
I try.
that
I
is
try.
okay and it's acceptable.
I
right?
do try. But last Friday, I couldn't be here, and so I'm very happy to be back. I've been gone for 4 weeks, and I have it on my entire brood is here, by the way.
Yeah.
So I now have
She brought the baby.
the baby.
Who is delicious.
I inhale her and eat her like
Oh my
face every day.
gosh.
Like we sleep nose to nose.
I
like
think
this.
I just need you to make another one. I'm making an order.
Okay,
For
so-
like my child.
Oh.
Like, let me just make an order. I want a Chandra and Ricky special and get into it. I mean,
do
and
that.
how- you went back to practicing dentistry too.
I did. I went back to practicing dentistry after 18 days post delivery,
Which is foolish.
which is foolish.
But,
I felt
Black
great.
entrepreneurship. We got to
It's
do
real.
it.
And
Yeah.
people are like, so you had a vaginal delivery? I'm like, no, I had a C-section.
Which is crazy. But y'all, she walked in the studio and I was like, so I haven't had a baby and my stomach ain't on flat. Like, I am confused on how unfair. That's okay, because I'm going to pay a surgeon to do that. But, get it right.
Oh, don't worry.
I'll be great.
Don't worry. In a year, everything will be put back. And by put back, I mean gravity will not have affected some parts of my body.
Don't hurt him.
No.
Don't hurt him.
Oh, I'm going to hurt him in a year. In a year.
I'm so excited because the show has not been the same without you. And I've actually had to stay in town, guys. So, like, I have been here for 4 weeks.
I know.
Yeah, it's quite
Which is rare.
funny. I don't even have a plane ticket, but I'm like, you know what? I got to do the show. So I'm excited.
Well, we appreciate you, and the viewers appreciate it.
I mean, here, so Skyping. But we do have a Skype special today.
Oh, we do.
We do. And I'm excited to introduce Dr. Max Madhir. Am I pronouncing correctly? Madhir. It's like, it sounds French. It's like, because it is French, Madhir. So
Yeah.
I am excited because these brothers are doing something that is phenomenal. And it is time. I mean, especially in this woke world that we're living in now. I mean, I am just overjoyed to, especially because they're from my school, my
Your stomping grounds.
my stomping grounds. I just gotta show love to the docs, and one of the three awesome men from the Pulse of Perseverance. It is a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much.
So I don't butcher your name. Can I call you Dr. Max, or are we gonna go? Who would you?
That's all right.
Huh?
That's okay. You
That's
can do
okay. All right. So, Dr. Max, tell me a little bit about you personally, and then we also want to know what is, for the viewers, the Pulse of Perseverance. Like, we got to let the viewers know how amazing this Black Boy Joy is going on right now.
I mean, I am thoroughly impressed, and not that I'm not easily impressed. It takes a lot to impress me. So I'm very impressed by this Pulse of Perseverance. So I want to know, and our viewers definitely want to know, what is this, and why they need to be as excited as I am about all this amazingness that I'm seeing.
Black Boy Joy. I'm
like, man,
and attractive Black Boy Joy too.
Yeah, like,
I mean, let's talk about that.
I just want to put that out there real quick. All these Black women out here saying that there's no more good Black men. I'm now all from their bios. They're all taken.
Yeah.
However, they're creating.
If you thought.
They're creating ones that are like them.
It's
so I just want to put that out there, that there still exists.
Yes.
Good Black men still exist, and we have one right here.
So let's hear about it. Tell us a little bit about you, sir.
Okay. So I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn is that what it is? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn
But you're not from.
I'm from Kansas. But I felt like I knew a song that applied there.
You went right in.
Where Brooklyn at? Nah. All right, I'm gonna stop.
But I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and was raised in Washington, D.C. So I'm an East Coast kid at heart.
I went to school in D.C.
Where did you go?
Howard.
I know. I'm just for the viewers.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
I'm an HU representative as well.
There we go.
What?
There we go. I knew it was something.
It was something about his spirit.
It was something about his.
Okay.
Okay, so wait, we're gonna get the full bio without interrupting you.
Yeah, let's stop.
When did you go to Howard?
When or
yeah,
where?
when?
I graduated from med school in 2008.
Okay,
So-
but you let him. No, wait. Can we
So
go
wait.
back? No, stop.
So wait, that's how I know. I was at dental school.
You got him to miss
in 2007.
the whole college experience,
I
which is
understand that.
amazing.
But clearly, we've crossed paths.
Okay, well,
We've crossed paths because I was HU class of 2007 with like Dr. Jameson, Dr. Dwight Brown, like all them.
I know all those guys.
See?
I know Tiffany is like best friends with my wife. Okay.
Boom.
And Dwight.
Tiffany went to Xavier too, though.
Yeah, she went to Xavier too. And Dwight, I know Dwight. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you keep naming them, I'll probably know.
Right. All these kids that went to Xavier that came up and became dentists with me.
Well, she tried to undermine the Xavier thing, so I just want to go back and let you be great, and we're gonna be quiet. We're gonna let you do your bio the right way, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said before, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Was raised in Washington, D.C. People always like to ask, how did I end up at Xavier University of Louisiana? Well, that route was because I got an academic scholarship to attend. And from there, of course, we'll get into the story in a little bit, but I did 4 years at Xavier. I didn't originally get into medical school the first time around. My journey took a different course. So I did a post-baccalaureate program at Southern Illinois University. The post-bac program is called MedPrep. I did that for a year. And then once my MCAT scores were right, got accepted into Howard University College of Medicine. I did 4 years there, graduated in 2008, did my residency and fellowship in anesthesia. Well, my residency was in anesthesia. My fellowship was in cardiothoracic anesthesia. I finished that in 2013. Once I was done with that, my wife wanted to be closer to her family as we started having children. I got 3 beautiful kids, Gabrielle, Vivian, and Kingston. And we decided to move back down to Louisiana. I currently reside in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I am a practicing cardiac anesthesiologist.
And I love first, shout out to Wifey for getting y'all back down to the South. That's awesome.
It's the best place to be.
But cardiothoracic anesthesiologist, I mean, I just feel like that already is perseverance, because he said that he didn't get in immediately, right?
Right.
That's right. That's right.
But you at the top of your game, sir. So, let's talk about perseverance in that way. How did you who are your partners in the Pulse of Perseverance? Tell us a little bit about them.
So I have 2 partners, but they're less I wouldn't necessarily call them partners, but more like brothers, because I've known these brothers for over 20 years. And their names, one is from the south side of Chicago. His name is Dr. Pierre Johnson. And the other one is from New Orleans, Louisiana. His name is Joseph Simeon Jr. And I met those brothers back in 1998. In 1998, we were all, well, myself and Pierre were 3 freshmen. And we were struggling with the demands of college. We both thought, coming from the high schools that we came from and the inner cities that we came from, we were ready. And we kind of, were, I would say, a little bit cocky. And then the Xavier curriculum kind of broke us down and showed us that we were nowhere near ready where we thought we were. So for us, that was a humbling moment and a humbling experience. So what we did was we found each other struggling, and we were both in the library. And just to tell you a quick story, what happened was I was in the library, and every time I would show up in the beginning of that semester, I would see the same face every day. Mm-hmm. And when I saw that face, I would come to the library one day, it would be Pierre. The next day I saw Pierre again. Third day I saw Pierre. So one day in passing, he was like, "Yo, Max," he was like, "Yo, do you ever go to the dorms?" I was like, "Yeah, to brush my teeth and shower, that's about it." That was kind of like an icebreaker for us. And from there, as we started talking and, really getting into each other's lives, what I saw in his eyes was this fire. And that fire was the same fire that if you're a person who's driven, you notice it immediately. I don't want to sound too cliche, but it's like when you see somebody and they're talking and they got like that eye of the tiger. When I saw it in his eye, he said, "Look, I refuse to fail." And when I saw that look, it's a look that I can genuinely appreciate. Yeah. And then so from there, we just were like, thick as thieves ever since. And from that point, we also saw Joe. There was another face that was there. And we saw Joe. Joe's from New Orleans. He was a little bit older than us because he had actually served time in the military. And he was coming back to complete his education. And Joe had that same fire and burning desire in his soul that, we saw. So we formed the clique and we held each other accountable. And we knew that we weren't necessarily the smartest, but we knew that, nobody would outwork us. So from then, even though we started near to each other, what we found was that, when you form a strong bond with somebody and, that can't be broken. So even though life's journeys took us on our separate courses, we were always able to stay in contact and always use each other for upliftment and motivation.
And you know what? One of the things that I definitely gotta highlight that you said that I thought was great was that you saw the fire in your friend's eyes, your brother's eyes. And too many times I feel like society, especially about Black people, we look at people or we're portrayed as looking at that as some form of competition. And you guys as a group decided to use that to help catapult each other to the next level. And I have to tell you, I absolutely love that. I can say that about my colleague right here and sister friend here, Chandra. Like, I want to see her win at life, and I know she feels the same. So I just love that you guys kept that going, because too many times I think we get portrayed in the opposite.
Yeah, and I would also like to interject there. I would also say we had that natural sense of community.
Yeah.
But I think I have to give it to Xavier in the sense of saying that Xavier fosters that sense of community. Yeah. And it's, when you go through life and you know that there's some points in life where you make bad decisions, all 3 of us would sit here and tell you that Xavier University was one of the best decisions we've ever made in our lives.
Right.
And the reason why is because the institution fosters that sense of community, and it fosters a sense where, you're not going to leave anyone behind.
Yeah.
And I can say it's not even just us 3. There were a lot of people that we graduated with that are doing phenomenal things in the careers that they've chosen. And there has to be something magical about that place, if you ask me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just as a Xavier Wright myself, too, I feel like the environment was small enough that you would see that same face in the library, right? You would see that face, but that face represented definitely that community aspect. And so I'm going to run into this ad real quick. This portion of the show is sponsored by Dr. Taraya Richmond. Finding excellence in healthcare is no easy task. When you begin this journey, look no further than your local family medicine physician, Dr. Taraya Richmond. Dr. Richmond offers an array of services, including pap smears, breast exams, STI screenings, contraceptive management, prenatal care, and so much more. So guys, call Dr. Taraya Richmond today to schedule your next appointment at 713-453-6962. So I know you left off, I think, where we were talking about you guys found this bond, you built this sense of community, and you guys separated and went different ways to pursue your degrees, but somehow the Pulse brought you back together. So let's talk a little bit about this Pulse of Perseverance.
That's right. Well, Pulse of Perseverance is our brand and our logo, and there's a mission behind it. And the mission is to empower and inspire young Black men to work towards their goals by giving them a blueprint, and B, the resources towards success. And in doing so, our overall mission is to redefine the narrative of the young Black male. You see, we know that in society, the way society views Black men, and not to necessarily play into the stereotypes, but the narrative has already been written, and it's been written for decades and centuries. Some of those including some of the biases include, they might say we're neglectful of our families and our children. We're unambitious in our goals. We're disinterested academically.
Right.
We are uneducated. And all of these things, we want to start to change that narrative. And we feel like with the advent of technology, it's time to start telling our own stories. We realize that the stories that are being written for African Americans in general, it's still a negative connotation, whether it's locally or worldwide. And our kids, perpetuate what they see in the news cycle in the media. So we just want to do our part and play our role in changing that narrative. We out here and we're just trying to shift the culture. That's all we're trying to do, really.
I have so many questions regarding this, but I know we have to end Facebook Live, but I really want to know, do you guys kind of stem some of this, all three of you, from direct experiences that you guys had? What is something that is stamped in you from something that may have directly happened to you as a young Black male? You know what I'm saying? Like, my husband has a story of being his high school counselor told him, I don't know why you're trying to go to college. You need to go ahead and do something with your hands, right? Pretty much telling him he needs to go get a trade. So that motivated him. Did you have a moment like that?
And if you guys want to find out about this moment, awesome, right? How do you find out more about this moment? Well, you are going to subscribe to our show on all our major platforms, including iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. We want you guys to review this show, so check out iTunes and give us some constructive feedback, because we want to know what topics you guys want to hear about. And also, you probably want to find out a little bit more about what Dr. Max is going to talk to you about. So make sure you share this story on Facebook Live and the entire show with your friends and family. And last but not least, donate to our mission to bring in rich, inspiring content each and every week. And you can donate this at www.thespirit.tv/donate. So we're going to take you guys off Facebook Live. But if you want to find out more about Dr. Max and the Pulse of Perseverance, you got to come and check us out. And make sure you follow them on their page. Tell us where they can find out more information about you and your company.
You can check us out on our website. It's www.thepulseofp3. That's THE Pulse, PULSE of P3.com. Or you can check us out on Instagram. On our IG, it's at Pulse of P3. Twitter is at Pulse of P3. And of course, our Facebook page is the official Pulse of P3.
I mean, you got to look at this website. We have it up on the screen. I know you can't see it, but I mean, it's just...
No, the website...
is phenomenal. Hands down. I just love seeing all this chocolate on the screen. It makes my heart happy.
Man.
Shout out to Hershey.
Well, and I mean, I just want to put that out there that I didn't go to like an undergrad HBCU, right? Like
Yeah.
I did go to the University of Texas at Austin, which I'm very proud of and I'm very happy about. However, there is something very special about this element, and I am, like I said, my heart just like explodes. Like I
When you
want
say it.
I want my son to, even though he's only 4.5 and his ass is getting in trouble every day in school right now. I need to lay this website underneath his pillow at night so he can understand, baby.
Spray this over your spirit.
There's more for you. There is more for you.
Right. This book needs to be right next to the Bible.
Right.
So you guys got to check choose wisely. Check us out, guys. We're going to end off of Facebook Live. It was good talking to y'all. Peace. All right. So I know Chandra hit you with a question. I definitely want to allow you the opportunity to answer it. So, but I do appreciate the Bible being right next to the post of perseverance.
No, I need
book.
I'm gonna just open up the iPad and just lay it right underneath his pillow every night and be like, "Ooh, baby, look at this. This is what your destiny
And
is."
you too can be awesome.
Okay. All right. We not going to the principal's office every day. Okay. Not every day.
Not every day.
You gonna be great. Amen. Okay. I'm just saying, right now it's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's a bit of a struggle.
You know, black boys probably have
Yeah.
a lot more struggle than I think black girls, though. So I'm definitely interested in hearing, the answer to Chandra's question. So what was it? And I'm always looking at what screen. I'm sorry, like we over here, this screen. This one.
So we off live now, so I can look anywhere. But
Yeah, you
that's
can
cool.
look anywhere, like, because we don't clearly know what we're looking at either. The studio is like new and they got new TVs everywhere.
Let me okay, I'm gonna just tell you this real quick, Dr. Max. I was off for 4 weeks. And
Yeah.
now there's like 8 screens in here, and I don't know which one to look at. And I'm feeling,
That means y'all coming up. Y'all expanding.
man. So clearly, keep contributing through www.thesphere.
Donate to the black mission. I mean, seriously, I'm like, I don't know. So
I feel like I'm in CNN, so
Right.
I don't really know,
what
what.
screen we looking at?
Right.
I think I'm gonna look here, and maybe you look there, and then we cover it all. So, okay, let's hear this story because you
I'ma stay on
clearly
the
see we are
tripod.
full. So,
Alright. So I'm sorry. So your question was, what was one of those moments of racism? Is that correct? Or
No, moments, whatever the moment was that you can refer back to, that you can say
Yeah.
that was the moment that someone either tried to put on me that I wasn't going to be good enough, and that was your driving force. Because I do believe almost all of us have a story where someone, either it's your loved one, or if it's someone like a high school counselor that tells you what you're not gonna be, and you know that you're destined for better. Do you have a moment like that would be something that you maybe tell some of these young men with the Post of Perseverance, that you can say, I had someone tell me this, or I went through this, and that's why I'm here telling you guys that y'all gonna be great.
yeah. So I would say for me, there were a few moments. But what I'll do is I'll just talk about one experience that I had. This was actually after I graduated from Xavier, but before I got into med school. So like I said before, we were in this post-baccalaureate program that was called MedPrep. It was at Southern Illinois University. Shout out MedPrep. But that program had a bunch of minorities that were in the program that were trying to get into medical school. And there were about 30 of us in our class. And so because there were only 30 of us, we took classes at that particular university at large. So it may have been 30 of us, but our science classes, being that this was a state school, was full of majority individuals, right? So there was this one class that I was struggling with a particular concept. And what I noticed in my training, I learned this pretty early, is that if you want to be successful, you have to have humility. So I never had a problem with, if I didn't understand a concept and somebody couldn't explain it to me, I would always just go to the teacher. So for this particular class, I was struggling with this concept, and I went to the teacher's office, and I was like, look, I don't understand. I think the class was chemistry or something. And I was like, man, I'm trying to get this. I've looked over it. I can't get it. Can you explain it to me? And the teacher was kind of dismissive, didn't really, he wasn't sitting down, he was standing up. And he was like, oh, yeah, if you just do this, you look at this, and then, that'll be your answer. And then I was like, doctor, I still don't get it, right? So can you explain it to me? And he was like, well, I just did explain it to you. What do you not get? So, and he was really condescending and dismissive in his tone. So I tried to explain it to him again. I said, I just don't understand the concept. And I know this is important for the test. And I got a big test called the MCAT that I got to take at the end of the year. And I really want to get this. Can you explain it? And he was like, well, aren't you in that MedPrep program? And shouldn't you be, you should understand this. And if you want to go to medical school, then this should be easy for you. And then he further went down to say that, there are a bunch of people in that program. I really don't understand why you guys need that. As if to say that, just because we were doing a post-baccalaureate program, that made us somehow less than people that were already in medical school. So that was just one example. But of course, time, when he said that, I didn't even let that infuriate me. I said, I stayed down, I looked at my paper. So I was like, so can you explain it to me again now? And long story short, this guy just really couldn't communicate. There are some teachers that just can't communicate well with students.
Right.
This was the guy, but I wanted to drive it home to make a point. Like, I really don't care what you're talking about. You get paid to teach, and I need you to teach me.
Well, and I think in life we need those teachers. Like if you don't have those teachers that are going to be the naysayers, I really feel like God puts those people in your life at certain times to decide if you're going to sink or you're going to swim.
Sure.
And you could have taken that completely a different direction, but instead you let him know, hey, you one monkey doesn't stop this show. And I pray to God that he doesn't need a cardiothoracic anesthesia. I mean, don't you just love
how things come back around? So just like all these TVs are surrounding us right now, we just like I just blatantly asked y'all for sponsorship. If you would like to sponsor or become a sponsor, or if you have your own business and you're looking for a place to advertise, we are the place. Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, you can get your product placement right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Okay, so I always feel like when I'm talking to people who go to these wonderful HBCUs as undergraduates, right? Because you and I have talked about the difference.
Yeah.
Because Simone, of course, went to Xavier undergrad and then went to
a PWI, I guess,
for dental school,
right?
And I did the reverse, right? And so the whole idea of what you just went through, being in a chemistry class with 500 people and being kind of looked down upon. I mean, I was at a state school, and they had a program like that where and this was more like you going from your high school year into your freshman year of college, that a lot of my friends were in. So when I got there, they all knew each other.
Oh yeah.
And it was nothing but minorities. So I had to like figure out how to be down.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute, I wasn't here all summer.
Like you in Mo City, pretty much.
Right.
You're not cool with everybody.
I'm like, how not cool, And so I say that to say is that through a lot of, I do feel like you can forge these really great friendships through the same type of adversities, right? So I do feel like you and your team of young men have formed a bond that's kind of unbreakable because of what you all went through together.
Yeah. And so how do you guys feel like you're translating this message to the youth? Because so now we've talked about what the Pulse of Perseverance is, but now you guys found that this was needed, and I I don't know how to articulate this the best way, but there's no time better than right now of showing people that this greatness can't be contained. So now you guys have the pulse of perseverance. You guys get this brainchild together going. What's the next step? Like, what's happening here? What are we doing?
So the first thing is, number one, we are coming out with a book. That book will be out within the next month. It's in the formatting phase. The book is titled The Pulse of Perseverance. It's 3 Black doctors on the journey to success. Like I said before, it's in the formatting phase. Then after that, we want to be able to build social capital and spread our messages of positivity and brotherhood to people that we think that need to see it.
Yeah.
Whether it's for inspiration, motivation, empowerment, whatever. There's like I said before, we have to get to a point where we can't continue to allow the 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock news to define who we are. And there are men who have reached this certain level of success, who, of course, and our sisters as well. We want to inspire them, right? We want them to also get out of the shadows and let the kids see us, because the kids, what we've come to realize in doing our own community work, the kids naturally gravitate towards people who look like them. We come from, we're even though we're from 3 different cities, we're all interested in the same things, and we come from the culture, mostly the culture being hip hop culture, and that's what the kids recognize, and that's what they gravitate towards. So we want to let them know, like, yeah, I'm not out here, shooting the ball. I'm not out here, throwing a football or playing, pitching a baseball, even though there's nothing wrong with none of that. But I'm not rapping either, doing anything, even though I love hip hop.
Right. You got the parts on the side of your head to make it look like it's.
Oh, y'all see it?
I mean, I see you. I love it. It's awesome.
No, we do exist. We out here, and we need to let the kids know, like, you do have options, and your options lie in your education. Your education opens up doors and avenues that you wouldn't otherwise have. A lot of our kids, they looking at 4 square block radiuses, and unfortunately, they still looking at the dope boy on the block for inspiration and motivation.
They were actually talking about that on the radio today, as far as like what are Jeezy was actually talking on the radio today, because
what Jeezy talks?
He does talk. I mean,
I don't believe
I
it.
mean, I'm hood at heart.
So you don't know, like, she is
I'm Sophista Ratchet.
She's the best. She's the so best, and I'm over here like this little country bumpkin chick from Kansas. Like, what is that? What is that?
So, because I'm so Sophista Ratchet, I was listening to Jeezy today, and he was talking about like what we grew up on, right? Which was like, I mean, Simone, maybe not you because you're 12.
I mean,
but we're the same age, Dr. Max. We're the same age, and how we grew up on Biggie and Pac and. What they talked about was a little bit different than what these kids are listening to today, right? Yeah. Which I can't really relate to. I mean,
I have no idea what they're saying though now.
I really try.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm down, but I'm not like. Anyway, so Yeezy was saying that they're talking about drugs and popping pills and all that because that's what they're doing. And the motivation is still the dope boy. But the difference with what we grew up with is that the dope boy was the image was different. Now it's still about making money, but the image is a little bit more blatant, a little bit more obvious. Like it's kind of like, I don't care about society and the rules, versus back then the dope boy was like, look, man, these are the rules. This is how you have to live, et cetera, et cetera. So he was giving this like very interesting perspective on what these young kids kind of relate to and how people like us are like, man, what are you doing? But it's the same thing, just in a different presentation.
But I guess I feel like now I'm seeing more of a change, and maybe that's because of the people that I follow on social media, the things that I'm into. Like, I see the young rappers that are coming out here that are talking about like, you know, what's going on in the world and us being silent about being persecuted through like the cops and things like that. Like I see the change. So I see that there's 2 different types, and maybe you can help us out with the, you know, the demographic that you're reaching. But It seems like there's two different types of black men out here, these young kids. You got the ones that are still in the game that can't seem to figure out their way out of it. But you also have this group of individuals that are really trying to now become the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings. Like they're on the cusp of being that greatness that I think that I'm seeing more of now. So, I mean, tell me a little bit about, and then you're coming from Brooklyn. So, yeah, you're right. Kansas is very different.
But you live in Baton Rouge, and my husband went to Southern, and we are always back and forth. And Baton Rouge has, I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
Hey, Boo.
It's
Boosie.
tough.
Boosie badass.
Yeah,
Boosie
badass.
badass.
Hey. I love Boosie.
Yeah, y'all talked at a certain point, and I mean, since we're talking about hip hop, we talk about rap. I think it's even more dangerous now for the kids because it's kind of like the way hip hop has evolved, or at least mainstream hip hop has evolved. What you have now, there was an era like, it did go from Biggie and Pac, then it kind of went to, the hardcore DMX, and then it kind of, it flipped down south. But the thing is now, then, down south, then came the trap. But now it's like the kids are actually, they're not even trying to sell. Now they're using the drugs.
Yeah.
It's a cycle where it's kind of like, you have this opioid epidemic where society at large feels like, oh, what's happening to our children? The kids are actually, it's not, crack right now. It's literally like lean and, popping and pills, like all these prescription drugs. These kids are using this stuff. And that's what you're hearing in the music. And I think that's why kind of like the rap, for people who appreciate, 90s or early 2000s rap, why we think it's like dumbed down, because the kids are literally high out of their mind while they,
Well, yeah, and I mean, and so versus like back in the day, the goal was like to be the drug dealer, not to do the drugs, right? Like now these kids are like, well, I just do the drugs.
I just do it.
So like, how do you motivate these young men? What is it are you just like what you say, just persevering and saying it over and over and over again? How do you and your other homeboys, because really y'all are homies at this point, like educated, smart homies, how do y'all, what is it that you've noticed? Like, is it just perseverance, you guys just talking to them over and over and over again, saying the same thing?
Or what's the blueprint? I think you said they got a blueprint.
What's the
going
blueprint?
on.
Because I do find that these kids don't listen.
Yeah. So what's the blueprint?
So for me, I'm part of 100 Black Men in Metro Baton Rouge, and that's kind of like the community organization that I'm involved with. I'm also involved with this platform called Metromorphosis. It's called the Urban Congress, on changing the narrative of young Black males in Baton Rouge. But particularly through 100 Black Men, with the boys that I interact with, the biggest thing that I see that makes a difference is just being present, showing up. And not necessarily showing up once, like literally every other weekend, the fellas, the guys are out there, and their moms drag them to our sessions, but they love when they see people that look like them. They kind of relate. When I outside of the hospital, when I'm at home, I'm in the street, I'm chilling, I'm wearing Jordans, I got my jeans on, t-shirt, whatever. So they kind of.
But do you wear Jordans though? But do you wear Jordans?
I wear Jordans.
I need to know. I mean, are you down like that? I mean, or nah? Because otherwise.
Like. It's so weird. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I mean, when I'm not, I'm just a regular everyday dude. I just happen to be a doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so the first step is just showing up. Then the next thing is, I always tell the kids, because all of them still, they either want to rap or play sports. And what I try to tell them is, look, and I always run this scenario. I say, let's just take a basketball game, for example. And this is how I show them their options. I say, look, it's 10 dudes on the court at one time, right? Everybody else on the teams are on the bench. They're not even playing. And even though everybody else is on the bench, what is everybody else in the stadium is doing? Everybody else in the stadium is enjoying the game, right? They're coming there for some form of entertainment. Those people that are in the stadium and the players on the floor, they're going to leave, unless they're, of course, playing professionally, they're going to leave with nothing. right? So only thing somebody's going to leave happy. The people who won are going to leave happy. The people who lost are going to feel sad. But there are few people in that gym, in that stadium, that are always happy, win, lose, or draw. And that is the owner of the team. That is the owner of the stadium. Those are the vendors within the stadiums who actually own the businesses. So everybody got to eat popcorn. Everybody like to eat hot dogs, drink soda, eat chips. Those people who are selling the products, they're always happy. They love when people just show up to the games. Even down to the person who's sweeping the floors, right? The person sweeping the floors at the NBA season, they sweep those floors 82 games a year. If they own the business, they are happy, win, lose, or draw. So that's how I try to come at the kids. Like, look, I love sports too. I like to watch the games, but I can separate the games from what it is that I have to do from a 9 to 5 perspective in order to feed my family, sustain, and be in business for myself and uplift my community at the same time. So that's when the guys would be like, oh yeah, man, I never even thought about that. So because some of these guys, they may be interested in, contracting or construction. And so they're like, so now you open up their minds, you show them like, hey, how your education can actually provide you options and you can still enjoy your hobbies for what they are.
Right.
Hobbies for entertainment. Knowing that your career, if you're going for sports, your career is going to be over within 3 years. Everybody can't be LeBron. The average player's average career is 3 years at most. So what are you going to do? Even if you do make it, what are you going to do after that? How are you going to sustain and change the cycle, break the chains in our community?
Right.
I love it.
Right.
I mean, I just think that too many black boys don't get a chance to see this. And so I'm curious from a business perspective, how are you guys getting your message out? Like, how are you guys getting the support that you need? And then also, what is the next step after you guys have the book out? Now you got people reading the book. What's the next plan?
So the plan, hopefully, is of course, go across the country and do some public speaking.
Yeah.
So with the public speaking, we will hopefully kind of build more of our base, build more of our tribe, and then from there is we're in the process of establishing a 501(c) organization, and it's going to be under Pulse of Perseverance, and we're going to have 2 separate arms. One is going to be the 501(c). The public speaking is going to be, for, of course, the business aspect. But from there, what we want to do is, particularly with the 501(c), is really open up the pipelines. Open up the pipelines the same way all these other communities do. Thank you for having us on this show. And, what we're doing right now is building, and, we need to support each other and build the networks, right? And so from there, what we want to do is the same way that you look at our website and you think it's dope and you think it's fly, what we want to do is promote all of our boys like that in the same manner. So we want to get them in front of the world, not only to show the world not all of us are, these things that you want to put us in a box to be, but we want to show the world that, our excellence is just as diverse as any other community. And what we want to do is get it to a level where, that's the expectation, not the exception to the norm.
We got to have them here because I think that this is just too good to.
Well, yeah.
It feels so good.
Whenever you guys get your speaking engagement in Houston, we're gonna have you here because I'm speaking that into existence. Because y'all, this is such a wonderful thing, and I do believe that it can really every city, not big, not necessarily small, every city needs men that look like these young black boys to encourage them to be more than what they are seeing every day.
Yeah, because that's what we want to do. Really, just the biggest motivator for getting to this point was really just realizing that when you reach a certain level of success, you look around and then you're like, dang, it's particularly for me. I realized I went to black schools my entire life, all the way from lower education, middle school, high school, college, and medical school. And I realized that, man, even though I saw people that looked just like y'all, successful, I realized I was living in a vacuum.
Yeah.
So now when you reach this level of success and then you look around your neighborhood, I live in a neighborhood with 4,000 square foot homes, and there's nobody who looks
Don't nobody look like you. Don't nobody look like you. Nah. You probably go into the hospital and don't nobody look like you. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm,
it's
yeah. So there are, of course,
crazy.
there are. I'm not saying that there are even then, right? So there are other black doctors
Right.
in my institution, but they're a little bit older. They're in
Right.
their 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and even though culturally, we might have the same skin tone, but not all skin folk is kin
Experiences.
folk. You know what I'm saying? So that's one
Not all
thing. And
skin
so
folks
there are
can
things
vote.
that they may not necessarily understand where I'm coming from and things that I'm going through, or they may understand things that I've been through, but they can't even relate to these kids at all, and they actually some of them look down upon the kids, right? So what we're also trying to do is not only change societal perceptions, but like elevate the social discourse. Like say, okay, what is it about, me that you don't necessarily agree with? And so it doesn't matter what my external appearance looks like, as long as I can articulate my thoughts, and express myself in a civil manner, then what are we really talking about? And of course, when you work with people and they get to know you, then they say, oh, well, no, you don't look like, you're not the rest. Oh, what is the rest? What are you talking about? Yeah, yes, I am. I'm come from the same demographic, and I experience the same things as soon as I take the white coat off. So, that's what we're trying to do, man. We out here, we trying to push, and we really trying to, let these kids see something different, and at the same time, not only society at large, but our elders see something different. And we
Yeah.
really need to get everybody on the same page to show the world that we are great. Period.
Well, let me tell you, they can definitely get this Unleash Your Dopeness from KOG and Company, because that's who's sponsoring this portion of the show. Um, are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Unleash Your Dopeness is a people empowerment movement built to encourage the masses to operate outside of their fears and have the gall to recklessly pursue their dreams and passions in life. Join thousands of others, join thousands of others as we unlock the greatness that dwells inside. Shop dope gear at kogpassion.com. That's kogpassion.com and use coupon code DOPE for 10% off exclusive Unleash Your Dopeness apparel. Act now, sizes are selling out fast.
Yeah, so I think that when we go back to what you see on a consistent basis, I love the fact that I believe that you guys are changing the face of medicine. You're changing the face of the nation, and too many times I think what's portrayed about us, I mean, when you go to an HBCU, that's what happens. You're right, you get in a vacuum. So when I went to Xavier, I'm like, oh, everybody want me to win? Ah, this is awesome. Like, it's just easy. Like, we ain't in competition. You giving me the test to study off of? Like, that's how my environment was. And then when I went to I don't want to say is it a PWI when you get to that level, but whatever it was, and it's one of four in my class, and I'm like, wait a minute, like, what competition can we all win? And so that's where I love that you guys are taking it back to the streets and letting them know, yes, we can win. What do you feel like are some of your biggest challenges with Pulse of Perseverance that you guys are going to face with trying to, push this movement? Have you guys received any backlash, or has it been supportive? And, as a community, what do we need to do to keep making sure things like this continue to succeed? And the reason why I asked that is I remember I spoke to one of your partners about the doctors, and they had a movement going probably on when I was in middle school. I remember seeing it, and I remember reading the book, and so much so this book impacted my life so much that I read it, and when I applied to dental school, I actually reached out to one of the authors who became one of my mentors. But then you don't really hear about it anymore. So what are going to be some of your challenges to make sure that this situation stays the course?
So number one, realizing that it's not just about us. We got into this thing to help shift the narrative. So what we want to do is not necessarily promote us as individuals, but if we feel like if people understand where we're coming from with the messages that we're portraying, the messages can sustain themselves. So that's number one. Number two, you just brought up a good point about those gentlemen, because I also want to shout out those guys, the three doctors who spoke to Pat, because we actually had a very lengthy conversation with those brothers, and they gave us nothing but their blessing. And they realized that the flame that they sparked is burning within not only ourselves, but people such as yourself.
Yeah.
To realize that, you know, they touched thousands and thousands of, you know, people of melanated pigment. So, you know, we're just trying to take it to the next level with the advent of technology. So right now we're just in a point where we're building the social capital, and we're trying to get the word, spread the word and spread the messages, and hope that even if people don't necessarily, you know, agree with us or see us, but maybe we would have just sparked that flame to carry on to the next generation. So, I mean, that's really where we're coming with it. And, you know, I think there was a quote, and I can't recall the specifics of the quote by description, but I think Gandhi said it, or somebody. I think he said, you know, with one touch, you can gently shake the world. So that's what we're trying to do. We know exactly what we're doing, and that's exactly what we're trying. We're just trying to shake the world in a way to say, hey, nah, you know what? You know, maybe these guys have something to say, and maybe instead of, you know, when a kid is walking down the street, you know, with a hoodie on, maybe they're not, you know.
Maybe they just cold. Maybe they just cold.
Maybe they just cold. You know, we're trying to normalize this and humanize us to not only, like I said, the world at large, but our own communities. Let's start really getting down to what our own vices are. Yeah. You know, I got people in my own family, like even my parents would be like, oh, why you got to do that? Do you have to, you know, they want me to dress up in a 3-piece suit every time. And I'm like, nah, but you still love me, right, Mom and Dad? And of course they do, because it's me. They know me and they love me for who I am. And of course I make them proud. And it's the same way. We got kids out here who, just because they look a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that they're ignorant or trying to do bad things. I mean, that's what really what we're about.
Well, I want to just say thank you so much for taking your time out. I mean,
we could talk all day.
Clearly,
yeah,
you are not only very busy with being a cardiothoracic anesthesiologist.
I mean, can we just keep saying that? Like,
I mean, well,
is such a big deal.
It makes me feel like black girl magic, and I'm not even a cardiothoracic anesthesiologist. But I'm
like, I know somebody.
I know somebody. I talked to somebody today,
like, right? Like, you know. So on my afternoon, what I spent doing
was talking to a
cardiothoracic anesthesiologist.
What did you do today?
And he's partners with 2 OBs, and they're changing the face of the nation. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. So I, you know, with your gentle touch, you are truly shaking the world. So I want to just say thank you so much for spending time, not only your time away from work, but you have 3 beautiful children and your wife, and I want to just say thank you, because I'm going to imagine that you're very busy. So thank you so much for joining us. If you could please give everyone one last way to get in touch with you, if they have any way that they want you to come out, maybe anything that they could say, hey, I want them and I need them in my life. Give them how people can reach you or find you.
Okay, so I'll first just give the email first. The email is www.pulse, P-U-L-S-E of P3 @gmail.com.
Okay.
The Facebook is www.theofficialpulse of P3. The Instagram is @Pulse of P3, PULSEOFP, and the number 3. The Twitter is the same, @Pulse of P3. And the website is www.thepulseofp3.com. And that's how you can holler at us. And on the website, of course, you can contact us. There's a page that, you know, of course, allows you to contact us directly via email or via our phone number, which is also listed on there as well.
Well, guys, you got to support this. I am excited. I will make sure I share this as much as I possibly can, because I want to see y'all win. We absolutely want to have you guys in the building when you are here in Houston. We are a lot of fun. Like, I mean, our magic is amazing. Like, I'm just trying to let y'all know.
I mean, we're not bragging.
But,
however, comma.
So guys, of course, you can see me, of course, at Smile Design Studios. I'm located on Highway 6 and 1092, Dr. Simone Ellis, and you can, of course, find me on Instagram at Dr. Simone Ellis. And again, I have to tell you guys how excited I am to have my co-host back. And if they want to get their teeth snatched just like your waist, what? I mean, seriously, your waist looks great. I mean, I'm jealous. But how can we find you, boo?
Just wait till Jamaica in May, though.
Oh my God, I'm kind of jealous.
Wait.
I'm kind of jealous.
I'm putting it out there. Me and you go work out together with Shadi.
We need to.
We're gonna work out together with Shadi.
Let's do this.
Let's do that. So if you do want to come and get your teeth snatched like my waist, you can meet me at my dental practice, which is Elite Dental Wellness, located at the corner of Fondren and Westheimer. Although it's been popping over there lately, don't fret about that.
I heard.
Oh, it's been like pop, pop, pop. I mean,
people getting reckless over there in Westheimer.
I mean, it's safe, but if you want a good
I
laugh,
thought West Chase was like,
you could just sit right on the corner and get a great laugh.
Dang.
It's been popping. So on your way out of the dental office, go grab you a cup of coffee and just sit and people watch. You will have a great time. You can find me at the corner of Fondren and Westheimer. You can go to my website, which is www.houstondentalwellness.com. or call at 713-789-8680. You can always follow me on Instagram at hotdoc.com or Facebook, Ashandra Batiste, Twitter, Ashandra Batiste. I wanted to say thank you for welcoming me back, team. Appreciate y'all. And thank you, Dr. Max, for joining us.
you are awesome.
Peace out. We'll see y'all next time.
I love y'all. Peace.
Love you too.
Peace.
Peace.